What you're looking at right now is the figurized standard Master Kamen Rider Kuuga Decade version. And don't make that fool because he looks exactly the same in the show. I mean, look at this man. Is there a difference? Well, I guess you could say he's not Godai Yusuke, but I swear to God I don't see any difference compared to the original release. There are two major differences. The original being more glossy, while the Decade version, which I have, is more metallic. But the molds are exactly the same, so just pick whichever red you prefer. And the second major difference is something exclusive. We'll talk about that later, since you know what you're here for. As standard to the figurized line, this model has varying textures in its plastic, that being the previously mentioned metallic red, translucent red, silver, flat black, and this gold, which is actually gold plated. And to us model builders, that means good looks for bad markings. Please don't feel discouraged, as this is what the other gold looks like. The seam lines here are minimal, with the worst offenders being the ones on the calves and the one on the head. I'm sorry. And if you haven't noticed already, there are many missing details. The easiest ones to notice are the ones on the belt. I mean the buttons. Kuuga viewers should know what I'm talking about. And naturally, there's a foil sticker sheet for this. Please don't tell me you're gonna put that on a round surface. Overall, the figure's proportions are pretty spot on to the TV show. Where it falls short though, is that there is a lack of clothing wrinkles on the black parts. Minor inaccuracies include this shoulder pad. It's supposed to be connected to the torso piece, but I say functionality over accuracy. This may bother some. The waist looks kinda janky, but this is to allow for more articulation. At least they didn't compromise his ass. Another thing that may bother you is that gem in the middle. It looks a little lifeless despite it being from the same translucent red plastic. But I'm guessing Bandai already knew this, so they gave a red sticker to suffice. This model comes with a moderate amount of accessories, the majority of it being hands. The first pair being these open hands, followed by a pair of fists, and these hands that I can only refer to as henshin hands. I hope this explains it. And finally, a thumbs up hand. But do you know what it means? It came from ancient Rome. Bet you didn't know that. And on that same episode, we were introduced to this. Actually, more like the Kuuga insignia also happens to be there, so that's pretty cool. And in order to get him up in the air, you can use this included stand. And in order to adjust this stand, you'll have to attach and reattach as it isn't a hinge joint. Okay, but where's the butthole? In order to attach him to the stand, you're gonna need this funny looking piece. And remember when I said they didn't compromise his ass? I lied. There's a square there. And the stand adapter attaches just like that. And as safely as you can, just attach him to the stand and there you go. And now we can finally talk about the extra pieces. They serve absolutely no purpose to this figure whatsoever. Hell, there's even this extra piece that I haven't even cut off the runner yet. And its use is apparently to attach this stand to other stands. Neat. And with no more funny this time, you get this exclusive sticker sheet. And if you didn't know, this actually pops up whenever he defeats an opponent. So if you like making dioramas, this may be for you. A dumbbell joint here, ball joint at the base of the neck, a butterfly joint, independently hinged shoulder pads, a big ball joint here, a hinge here, a bicep rotation, double jointed elbow, ball jointed wrist, a mid-torso ball hinge that allows this movement, a ball joint here which allows a waist rotation, a drop-down hip system which does this. Do you see the difference? A universal joint at the hip, thigh rotation, double bend at the knee, and a universal joint at the ankle which allows this much movement. And surprisingly, a toe bend. With well-placed joints and a fairly basic design, you have barely any limitations in posing this guy. And to add with the fun, this figure is very solid. This figure stands around 6.5 inches or 16 centimeters. Here he is next to a standard 1:144 scale Gundam, Revoltech's Midoriya, a standard Marvel Legends figure, and my Revoltech Evangelion. And yes, I do keep my figures. Also, here's a Figma. I'll be real with you. I am very biased. I love the show Kamen Rider Kuuga, so naturally, I would love this figure too. The posability is really good here, and the amount of accessories does help support that a lot. I really like the colors here. The metallic red, it looks really nice. Especially the fact that I got a lucky copy, since it doesn't marble as bad as usual. The missing details don't bother me that much since, you know, it's a model kit. Not all details will be present, especially something as minuscule as those buttons on that belt. But not gonna lie, I didn't expect the red parts to be colored in those kneecaps. So you can already tell that my overall thoughts on this figure is positive. But it's 4,000 yen. Bruh. For that price, you're better off getting this figure only if you like Kamen Rider Kuuga. So if you like model kits and you love Kamen Rider Kuuga, I think you should buy this. It's really good. Also, if like 5 of you guys subscribe, which would be pretty cool, I would review this guy.